Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Learn GCP with Mahesh. Today we will see the benefits of GCP recertification. So let's get started. A quick shout out before we get started. So I'm starting my batch 5 starting from 12th of September, and that's a timing. So if you're really interested, just send me a direct message to get more details on it. So let's get started with the benefits of recertification. The first benefit which I see is, let me just click on my certificate and show you. So most of you are aware that I got recertified in my cloud data engineer, GCP data engineer certification. If I scroll down, and many of you are aware that there's a directory in Google Cloud itself where you can add your directory, this thing, certifications. So this could be really attracting um, the staffing people. So if you want to get hired, so please try to use this. So let me just click on this recertification, the one which I took recently, and I can show you the benefits of the first benefit first of all. So this is the certification. If I just zoom this, you see the first certification, the first time when I took the certification was in 27th of April 2018, and I guess in the month of June 2020 I got recertified, and that's the reason it is moved to 30th of June 2020. Now, so 2 years, everybody knows the certification is valid for 2 years. Now, the benefit which I figured it out is, was my totally based on my understanding. You see this, if you share this credentials with the link with somebody, right, who's going to hire you, by looking at that, what they understand is this person is with GCP doing GCP related work for almost 4 years. So by 2022, if you see, the certification is valid for 4 years is what it shows. So that also shows the experience which you have gained here. So this is the first benefit which I saw, and this has a direct connect to your jobs. So that this also shows that this person is not a seasoned data engineer, but he's working on GCP's data engineer related concepts day in day out. That is a message which gets conveyed. 4 years, and this is really a good one. And this you can get it only when you certification is getting expired, and definitely you'll get a notification from Google. And if you take it right, the same ID. So this is my serial ID, the certification ID, all those things. The same ID would be extended. So that way it shows like it's like 4 years back to back. I'm working on GCP as a data engineer. This is the first benefit which you get. The second benefit which you get is I got 50% off. So everybody knows it's $200 USD, and if it's in India, it's going to be $120. So I got 50% off. So it's like roughly around $60 plus tax. So that's a benefit also which you get. So that's a second benefit which you see. And the third benefit which I wanted to show is, which is the most important thing as per my understanding. For that, right, let's go to the video which we did almost like 2 years, which was the first video which I did actually, to be very frank, the streaming processing using Dataflow, PubSub, Dataflow, and BigQuery. And till date, this is one of the highest viewed video in my channel. So almost like 20K views. Now, it was a 5 minutes video is what I had shown you. Now it's almost 2 years. Now let me rerun the same demo and show you what are the new things which I have learned on the same concept. It's the same concept which is streaming, but 2 years. What are things have changed, and how can you adapt it? How cost effectively you can run certain things is what we are going to see now. So for that, let's go to our data flow, and the data flow screen also has changed from what we had seen in 2 years back in the same video. So let me just create a job. Let me create a job, and I'm going to call this job as something like streaming. The same name we can give it, something like PubSub, data flow, and BigQuery. That's it. And lots of endpoints have come with Google Next coming in already. The lots of endpoints are there, and you see this is a new change also. Previously, when you see the endpoints were less. So let me choose Singapore, and the template which I'm going to choose now is under streaming. The way the UI has totally changed, so that is also an indication that you should be continuously learning. So the one which I'm going to choose now is PubSub, that is under process data continuously, which is stream. So PubSub subscription, PubSub topic to BigQuery is what I'm going to select. The moment I select it, the user interface is going to change and it's going to tell me this is how the directed acyclic graph is going to look like. So read from a topic, convert that into a rows and columns, because basically you are going to send a key value pair which is of this format, key and a value. It's not nested, it's a simple plain one. And if you wanted to change this, right, definitely there's a GitHub page where you get the template. You can change the code and make it work for your requirement. So but this template is a very basic template, so this is getting basically for onboarding you to Dataflow quickly. So this is how it looks like. So the first thing which you need to give is your topic. So let's go to our topic and create one topic. So the topic name which I'm going to do is something like streaming. Let me click on create. So by the time this topic gets created, we need to create a, okay, it's created. So and you see the changes in PubSub also has changed a lot. So let me copy this, go to my jobs, paste it, then move to the next thing, the sink. The source is your PubSub, the sink is going to be your BigQuery, and here we are going to create a empty table. So I've already filled in the screen for the simplicity reason and to make the demo quicker in the interest of time. So click on create table in your BigQuery, make sure it is an empty table, choose what is the name of the table you want, make sure your schema is something like this. So in my case, I just wanted to show you something on the training, usually like the modules which I usually take in my training. So module, sub module, the duration of the module. So that is the stuff. And this is the same thing which I did 2 years back also. Now, 2 years after, what has changed? If you wanted to turn on partitioning, a concept which is very good in BigQuery, where you can basically group stuffs based on a date field or a integer field. Since you see an integer field, you can turn on partitioning if you want. You can turn it on. So partition by field duration. This is a new addition. Now what we are doing is we are getting upgraded every time. So by getting upgraded, and if you get recertified also, it's going to be a value add. So this is the key message which I wanted to convey here. Now, if you want, you can turn it on, or if you don't want, leave it as simple, because it's going to be a very simple demo is what we're going to do. But partitioning is now turned on for columns which is integer type. That is an important thing which I wanted to convey. So let's click on create table, and the table gets created. We are going to key in this table information in our job, Dataflow job. So if I just click on this, click on details, I'll get the complete table ID. I'm going to copy this and keep an eye, it is just created right now in Singapore data location. The table size is 0, number of rows are 0. So now let me go and paste it here in my this thing. Done. So the input is there, the source is there, the output is there. Now there's a temporary location which you need to give, so that's going to be a Google Cloud Storage bucket. So I have already a bucket, so I'm just going to use this bucket. And you see even the interface of the UI has made simple, so you can just copy the text like this. It makes your life simple. So slash temp is what I wanted to do, and this is where I had done simple, enter these details and click and run job. But the enhancements which has gone after 2 years, from like in the last 2 years, is click on show jobs, so where you get lots of other configuration. So we can change the worker location if you want. Since ours is in Singapore, so we may not need to change it. But say for example, if you just scroll up, I have also done a video on this. If you see quickly here, there's no endpoint for Mumbai. If you want to change, your endpoint would be in Singapore, but your execution, your ETL process, you want it to happen in Mumbai, you can select Mumbai. So this option is a good choice. But since ours is already in Singapore, and I'm not able to provision resources in Mumbai, so I'm not going to change it to Mumbai. I'm just going to leave it like this. This is one thing. The second thing which I wanted to show is the last time when we ran, it used to create behind the scene a virtual machine, because it's going to data flow behind the scene is going to create a managed instance group. So when it creates a managed instance group, it's going to be a virtual machine, and if it's a virtual machine, it has to be a, it's going to have a public IP address and a private IP address. But there are many videos which I have already posted in the channel. What is the importance of private IP address? Now, If you want to run your Dataflow job with a private IP address, you can definitely do that. So for that, just go under your this thing, make it as private. So when you make this as private, right, since you're using Singapore as the this thing, and if you don't mention any as the region, if you don't mention it, it's going to be a default VPC. Go to your default VPC and see whether private Google access is enabled. I have also done a video on this. Let me put it in the description for that. So I'm in my default VPC, and if you see Singapore, just click on this. If you see the private Google access is not turned, okay, it's turned on for me. So because I had done a previous demo, so it's turned on. This is a prerequisite. You turn it on. Now go back to your template. You're all good. So what are the new things which we learned so far? The first of all is the worker location can be changed. That is something which we saw. And private IP address is a new thing which we saw. So importance of getting always keeping us up to date, which will help us to get recertified easily and also showcase that we are working on GCP day in day out. So that is a key message which gets conveyed. So those are two important things which we saw. And in BigQuery we saw partitioning on integer field is also turned on. This is a new thing, so that's a good thing. So let me click on, let me just verify everything is proper. Looks like yes, it is proper. So let me just go ahead and click on run job. So when I click on run job, because the data flow interface has also changed, so it's going to show you a new data flow screen. So if you were to go to the older screen, you can click on it. There are two advantages, I would say. There's some good parts in the new interface and there's some good parts in the older interface. Let's try to leverage both the stuffs. So if I just go to the older page, what you see is it's going to be showing the older thing which you had seen even in the last 2 years back demo. And if you see here, one advantage which I really see is this auto scaling feature. So currently it is scaling to 1. If you just wanted to know that, just go to your compute engine screen, refresh it, you will see a virtual machine getting provision, which is nothing but basically a managed instance group. So you can just verify it. Let's wait for the screen to come up. You see that PubSub Dataflow BigQuery. So it is just got started, and if I just turn on my creation time, it is today, 4:44 IST time, and you see this, it is in use by this. So this is basically an instance group is what it easily conveys. And the most important thing is, compared to the previous demo to now, it's not going to have an external IP address, meaning it's going to be very secure and it's going to be very cost effective, because external IP address are going to be charged starting from 2020 June 2020. So we are having a cost effective solution, we are getting upgraded. So now let me go back to my job and see, sorry, let me go to the job back. This is one thing. So if I, you see this auto scaling, so this could be also a possible question in your certifications. So auto scaling is turned on by default for your data flow. So this, the older screen shows this very nicely. Now let me switch to the newer screen. This has some good benefits also here. First of all, it shows it's a streaming job type, and this remains the same. So previous demo which we had seen and this demo, it's going to be the same thing. The only thing which you will see is the version of your Apache Beam, and it is still supporting for Java. So if it's more streaming, I would say Java is a good choice. But recently Google also made an announcement that you can do it in multiple languages. So with that, even with your Python, you should be able to do it much easier is what I would say. So that's one thing. So if I just click on this topic, it's going to show how many stuffs I'm trying to currently, how many data has been accessed. So no element has been processed is what it indicates. Now let's go and publish some data. So for that, right, so I'm going to go to my PubSub and I'm going to publish certain data. So this one, a new addition. So you can publish a single message or you can publish a recurring message. So single message is what we had seen in the last demo. And if you see currently this topic has no subscription, what it indicates is the screen has not been refreshed. So if I just refresh it, or if I go to my subscription, you will see one subscription already created by Apache Beam pipeline itself. So let me just go to the subscription and click on it, and you will see one. So this is another advantage. when you write anything in Apache Beam. So now go back, click on this, and now if I click on publish single message, you see that it is gone. It's just a refresh of the screen which is required. So let me just paste a content like this. So the content which I'm going to paste is as per what they had mentioned in their documentation. So if you see here, um, the help had mentioned it has to be a key value pair, right? So that is what I'm trying to mention here. Module, submodule, duration. That's it. Hit on publish. This is going to get published. And now if I come and click on this first node, you will see the data will be coming soon. So you should be seeing that data coming. So let me just click or refresh the screen and see what is going to happen. So still we have not read any data. Yeah, you see this one element read. So this is a new change which you see in the this thing. And also because it's going to be streaming processing, right? So you are going to use the feature of data watermark. So my time is something around 4:17. So anything between before like anything by 4:17, all the data has been processed is what it indicates. That's your late to handle late arriving data. We know Dataflow can handle that. So this feature is something which you can see data watermark. All good. Now, if I go to my BigQuery, this is where we had stopped. So I'm just going to refresh the screen, do a hard refresh. Just wanted to show you what's going to happen. So I have refreshed my screen and you see here the table. You see this? It is basically using the streaming buffer statistics and estimated rows are 1. So the table size is going to be 0 because it's basically using the streaming buffer statistics. So once everything is done, then it is going to persist the information. Now, if you wanted to query it, and one of the best practices which we have always used is never ever put select star. So I'm just going to put something like this, run it. So it's going to show me one row which has been inserted. Now, let me use that recurring feature which has been recently added into the PubSub. So I'm just going to do this recurring message. So let's make it as something like 20 messages at an interval of 1 second. So it's going to be the same content inserted continuously. So let me make it as networking, cloud, or VPC basics. It's going to be for 3 hours. All right, 20 times it's going to be inserting. Done. So this is all for testing purpose for easy onboarding. So the data is getting published. Now let me go and run the query. You should be able to see lots of information. So that's what you see here. The data, if I just go to my topic, all are submitted. So we should have totally 21 rows. So if I just run it, so you see this 21, that's one thing. And if I just go to my table details, you see this, it's still showing 8 rows only. But this is an important thing, even if it's like because it's streaming analytics, right? BigQuery can get the data even if it has not persisted. That's the beauty of it. Now you have seen it by yourself. It's only 8 rows. So let me just refresh it one more time just to show what is the estimated rows completed. It should show as 21 at the end. That is a key message there. So let's just wait for the screen to come up. All right, if you see here, now it has come to 20. So you understand the concepts of streaming also. So data is coming, you're able to query it. If you're able to query it, definitely you can show it on your BI tool. So then to parse it completely, it will take time in BigQuery. No mind, never mind, because we are able to query it and show it on a BI tool. So that should be a good choice. So now if you look into the preview also, it will show everything is there. So what are the things which we learned? So there's a new interface change in your data flow and we leveraged it. Then in PubSub, we saw there's a recurring message. This is basically user interface enhancement. In BigQuery, we saw partitioning was turned on, and we saw we did a sneak peek, is what I would say, on streaming buffer analytics, where we understood how BigQuery streaming insert is going to work. So if I just going to leave it for a few more minutes, or if I just refresh it, this number should show 21 rows. So estimated rows should be 21. So let's just wait for the screen to come up. So I'm not going to pause it just to show you live there. So hide it. You see this? 21. So this is what we have. So this is something which we learned. And the last one, just wanted to share. This is going to be a streaming analytics. It's going to be basically doing a streaming job. So if you just leave this job like this, it's going to run forever, and you will be charged for your data flow. The pricing would be your price of your virtual machine, 4 vCPU, 15 GB of RAM. If you just leave it, it's going to run it like this because it's streaming. So the important thing which you need to do is go and stop this job. And this could be an important screen from the exam perspective. Two parts. If you want to have a graceful shutdown, go with drain. If you say, I don't want to do anything, I want to right away stop it, go for cancel it. The moment you click on cancel, right, what happens is behind the scene, your virtual machine is going to be deprovisioned. So if you just go and refresh the screen, you should see the virtual machine is getting stopped. So the instance group will be removed totally. So this is where you will see Dataflow acts as a serverless ETL tool, because you are not going to provision the virtual machine by your own. It's going to be on its own. When you stop it, it's going to stop it. So that's the beauty there. So if you just give for a couple of minutes, the job gets stopped. You should see that completely the instance gets removed. And you see this, now it's completely removed. Go back to your pipeline and look into the stuffs. You should see this is canceling. Good. And there's a new slide which you get to show whether it's running or not running. This is a good important stuff, I would say. So those are the benefits which you get from recertification. Firstly, from the attracting more staffing or HRs, so that you are certified, you are up to date, all those things, and also real-time exposure. So new same demo 2 years back, how we did. Now how we are doing is what I wanted to show you. So that way you would have got things are changing. You need to be more agile, understand the stuffs, and if you really feel recertification matters for you, get recertified. Thank you for watching.